Hello, folks. It's Halloween weekend. The skies are gray. The desert sun has retreated. Hockey's in full swing. And Mark Stone has risen from the grave to lead the league with 17 points. How will the Western Conference ever survive this undead nightmare?
That was pretty good.
Happy Halloween, folks.
And Jacob, what a week.
It's been, I was just thinking that. I was like, a lot has happened in a week.
Back at home, and apparently this team just fucking lasers in 6+ at home now.
I was gonna say, I think we scored. I had it written down and I forgot my notes, but I think we scored like 19 goals in 3 games or something.
We scored goals. 19 goals. So 6-1 LA, 6-4 Ottawa, 7-3 San Jose.
God
goals
damn.
in 3 games, with Calgary coming tomorrow, and they've been on the downswing now too. They lost a couple games after their hot start, which was kind of
to be expected.
Should be expected. They're not going to be incredible.
Well, a lot of people were convinced that, like, well, maybe they should think about adding. Maybe they should think about adding.
When you're, obviously, Rasmussen's been really good. Not Rasmussen. Jesus, I'm thinking of the guy from Detroit. Rasmus Anderson's been really good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But Kadri's been okay. Hooter's been better, but it's probably gonna regress to the mean.
Yeah.
What more they're gonna be like.
I would say it's still a very deeply flawed roster.
Yeah, but let's talk about the night. So like we said, 6-1 against LA, 6-4 Ottawa, 7-3 San Jose.
And I think it bears reflecting upon just what a difference a week can make, because the last time we talked, we had just lost 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Team didn't look good. We're hemorrhaging goals.
We gotta be better away. I'm sure we'll get better, but the thing that worries me about those numbers, the one that we had 4 hung on us was Aiden Hill, and he didn't look particularly great that game.
Yeah, I figured it would come up. I was like, should we focus on the positive stuff first and then go to the negative stuff?
Positively, Samsonov looked really, really good against LA, and they put a lot of shots on him. And then he looked solid against San Jose last night. I think he still finished with above 900 or right at it. There's a couple.
I let 3 in.
There's a couple that
really
were
stupid, embarrassing turnover. Just makes me cringe thinking of it. But I feel like sometimes when you're steamrolling a bad team, people get a little loosey-goosey, including the goalie.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are fine. You kind of want those ones to happen early. Bright spot. Carlson's back. Yeah, 2 points in his first game back.
Literally
looked great.
A point in his first shift back. Nasty pass to Pearson.
Yep, buried it. And
Pearson
then
fucking laser. I was like, God.
Then a shorthanded goal, preying on Vanacek being an idiot.
Yeah, but even regardless of that, all I could think was that William Karlsson and scoring shorthanded goals against the San Jose Sharks. Name a more iconic duo.
And then the top line is fucking disgusting.
I call me a homer, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's clearly the best line in hockey right now.
In total points and scoring, yeah, because you could make an argument and say it's the Gensel Kucherov point line, but I would put them right next to the Eichel, Stone, and Barbashev line, because while Barbie's finishing, he's only like 1 goal off of Kucherov's pace.
Yeah, I think one of these games, Gary Lala said something along the lines of, it took Barbashev like 20 games last year to get as many goals as he has now.
Yeah, he looks great. He's pushing. He's doing everything you want him to do, but he's also finishing now too. And guess what, guys? Surprise! When Mark Stone's healthy, he's one of the best hockey players in the league.
Now, Alex, Mark Stone has 17 points in 9 games.
Yeah.
Would you, if you were a GM, we'll just play armchair GM for a second here, and if you were in a race for a wild card spot in the playoffs, would you take that player and would you fake an injury and put him on the bench?
Totally. All the time. Totally.
I'm glad we're in agreement. That's obviously what a smart conclusion to come to.
But I think the big difference, though, is he feels healthy, and like he said last year with the spleen thing, his back felt the best it felt ever. He was at a point per game pace last year. up until the spleen injury, and that's just a freak injury that nobody expected. But like, everybody will be like, "Well, was it really injured?" Again, we've talked about this about 20 goddamn times on this podcast, but they send NHL doctors to the team to make sure that the player is indeed injured.
Yep, and they review the records and they they inspect the player.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, maybe the Habs should have, read David Reinbacher's injury history, with having bum knees at 18 years old before they drafted him at a top 10 pick.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Who would have thought? Maybe they should have considered Patrick Laine's injury history, before trading for him. Or, thinking about, certain guys' attitude before taking them. Well, whatever. Well, who knows? Oh, wait, isn't Carey Price still on their team? Oh, wait, he's on LTIR too.
Yeah.
Did he fake the injury? That's a lot more money than... That's 10 and change. That's more money than 9.5.
What's really funny is after the news came out about Shea Theodore signing his extension, all the comments were like, what the fuck? Does Vegas just have infinite money? And then, of course, all the top voted, liked, whatever comments are all like, I don't know how they keep getting away with this. They're clearly, how can they just spend over the cap like this and no one says a thing? And I was like, you're kind of telling on yourself in the fact that you don't know how to count.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do math.
Yeah.
And you also don't know how contracts work. Because this one, we're under the cap right now.
And two, this is
with no one
next year.
Yeah, with no one on LTR. And two, this goes towards next year where we were gonna hit next year with $20 million in cap space. About $2 million of that just got eaten up.
Oh no! How are we gonna sign people?
How do we do this, Alex? How do they keep getting away with this?
How do they do math? Maybe it's because front office ownership and capped guys and the guys that are paid to do this know more than just the casual hockey fan crying on the line.
Yeah, well, I know we were talking about the games, but I feel like I got to get into the Theodore extension now. How fucking insane is it that the cap is going up and some insiders are already saying it might go up more than what people have been thinking?
Yeah.
It's going to presumably keep going up at that interval every single year for
the
the foreseeable future.
The NHL depends on gate sales more than it does, gate sales and merch sales more than it does like TV rights, TV deals. I mean, the ESPN one is making them a lot of money. The big thing is like the NHL's viewership has been down. I'm like, guys, it's been against the fucking World Series, the WNBA finals, NBA opening. Of course, it's going to be down. Yeah. Like, come on, it was a big weekend. It'll pick up.
There's only so many TVs in the sports bar.
Yeah, and then also like the big thing is like, well, in Canada we can't do this. I'm like, no one cares. Like you guys are. There's literally 6 teams, 6, right? 6 Canadian teams.
7.
7 Canadian teams. Always forget about Ottawa. 7 Canadian teams, and guess what? There's 25 fucking teams in the United States. Of course, ESPN's gonna get the deal. Yeah. It's a Disney fucking conglomerate. No one gives a shit about TSN.
That's why it also kills me how the last 2 years people just
guess who's hasn't won a fucking cup in 30 years? Oh, Canadian teams. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, and it also kills me how people are always complaining so bitterly about how late the season goes, and like the Stanley Cup should be awarded no later than June 1st. I'm like, well, guys, ESPN has our rights, and they also have the rights to baseball, so they are not going to start. They're not going to advocate for the hockey season to start sooner, right in the middle of baseball postseason. Yeah.
No, well, I mean, World Series is on Fox. And they always have those rights, but regular season, it's all on ESPN.
Yeah, so I guess tail end of the regular season.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, with Shea Theodore, the cap like you said, it might be going up, but that deal, you've got
to finish the thought that I had before we got sidetracked. He is making less money than Alex Pietrangelo.
He's making less money than Alex Pietrangelo, than Erik Karlsson, than Seth Jones, than Zach Werenski, than soon to be Evan Bouchard. And he's better. I would frankly put him better than all of those guys, both in terms of offense and defense. I know we were complaining about him a bit last week, but those lapses are more obvious when you know how good of a player he is, period. Like when he has those lapses and he's pushing down too much or pinching too much and things happen. And he normally doesn't let that happen.
I'll say, and let's be real, we can bitch and moan about a bad player or two or a stretch of bad games. No one's going to remember this shit in 5 years. and he'll still be with the team in 5 years.
And what you're going to remember is him, I think, second in the team in defense and scoring. I think Pietrangelo is only above him because Theodore didn't play the game against Ottawa.
Pietrangelo's also been extremely good this season.
Yeah, and I think it's a great deal. It was like 7.425 or something like that for 7 years.
So it's like I think it's a shade over Hannafin, and it's a significant chunk under Pietrangelo.
Well, when you're now paying 3 effectively number 1 defensemen, and number 1 to 2 defensemen, basically the same price, maybe give or take $1 million, and that's between 3 really high end guys, and they're other than Pietrangelo, Hannafin and Theo are both young. They're like 27, 28, and Pietrangelo's aging well. Will take $22, $23 million between 3 really good defensive players versus, fucking Erik Karlsson getting paid 11.5 and the corpse of Crystal Tang hanging on.
And let's keep in mind, Alex Pietrangelo has 2 years left on his deal. Yep.
So
and
this is perfect. Like this is like if he decides, okay, I'm 36, I want another 2-year deal, probably give it to him.
Yeah.
He either stays here, he goes back to St. Louis. Give him a couple of years. Or if he goes, I'm done. You've got the fucking prospects to fill the hole.
Yeah, and it's not exactly like he's dead weight either.
No, he's been great.
Right now, he looks like he's on pace to like possibly have the best season of his career.
He's been great.
Which is crazy to say.
Yeah, he's been really, really good so far. He's been incredible. Theodore's been great. Hannafin's looked better with Petro. White Cloud's been solid by himself.
Mm-hmm.
McNabb. We all know what McNabb is.
Yeah, and and even Haig looked at the whole decor
with the defense getting reshifted. And we didn't talk about this. We did talk about changing the defensive pairings on the last episode, but we didn't talk about it actually changing. So they changed to what it was pre-playoff pairs, right? It was Hannafin, Petro, then McNabb, Theodore, and Haig and White Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday and Tuesday, all three of those games, they looked great. Theo didn't play Friday because he was sick. And then Haig didn't play last night because he was injured. But the defenses looked a lot better.
Yeah.
it looked a lot better. There's some stuff to clean up and stuff still, but I know it's San Jose and they haven't won a game. They haven't won a game at all, but it just looked like 2 different levels of teams out there.
Yeah, and it hasn't all been roses. That Ottawa game was, I like the ending, but it was not a good game.
Oh, it was dicey for sure. Yeah, but then
LA,
Ottawa's a high flying offense though too.
Exactly, in LA we just fucking smoked them.
Oh yeah, and I think I told you, I was like, yeah, you look at LA, you're like, I know they're missing Drew Doughty, which is a big deal. It's Drew Doughty, but nobody else is missing on that offense.
Exactly, and meanwhile we were missing Theodore. Was Theodore that game?
No, Theodore was Ottawa. So we were missing Karlsson, Olofsson. I think that was it for the Kings game. Theodore.
I thought we were missing a defenseman for some reason. Because wasn't that Caden Korzak's first game?
Oh, yeah.
Who were we missing?
Did Haig not play? No, Haig played.
I think that was the game Theodore missed. Because I think Theodore missed that game, and then we had a full complement for Ottawa, but Haig left the game early, injured.
That's right. There you go. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Bruce Cassidy made a comment last night after the Sharks game, and he basically said like we're getting to our game for longer stretches of time, and playing well and looking like ourselves for longer stretches of time.
Yeah, we're like we talked about where the team's finally feeling themselves.
Exactly, and there's, if you look at the whole homestand, it's been amazing offense, kind of dicey defense, but then better defense. But I agree, it does feel like we're playing at the level that we need to play at for longer stretches, and
guess what?
Things are kind of stabilizing.
I know we talked about the big names, but that Hertl, Howden, Dory line
that's something we got to talk about.
Nasty. Howden scored twice last night, both off of feeds from Hertl, and Dorofeyev was involved. That they just look better than everybody else that's out there. Well, and there's moments even where they didn't score where like Hertl just picks someone's pocket at the blue line and just like comes skating in and there's no problem. And that line has looked really good. Karlsson looked great coming back.
I would say, well, to focus on Hertl a bit, because let's remember after our last episode, we were kind of dogging on him because we're like, he's just not doing anything 5-on-5. Like He has been good on the power play consistently.
It's just the big thing that we said he needed a winger. And, Brett Howden was on the wing for Mark Stone and Charlie Stevenson on effectively the second, sometimes the first line in our Stanley Cup run. Mm-hmm. People forget about how good Brett Howden can be.
Yeah. So it was a good match. And then, so the next game after we made our complaints, they assembled that line. And I just want to read Hertl's stat line against
he
that
went
game
off against the Kings.
Yeah, he had 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists, 5 shots on goal, 3 hits, 1 block, 90% face-off win percentage.
So he was just everywhere, and he was taking face-offs. He was taking face-offs against great centers, Kopitar, Byfield, Philip Deneau. Mm-hmm. He was winning those face-offs.
Yeah, and he's just kept it up for the other 2 games. He's now at 10 points in 9 games. He just looks like the Thomas Hertl that we all knew he could be.
Yep.
And it's that 1-2 punch with the Eichel line and Hertl line is starting to look really scary.
Now you got a 1-2-3.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that Carlson's got that line chugging with him, first shift, fed a pat. Holtz made a good play, and then Carlson got that puck in the corner. Great pass to Pearson, right on the stick, and Pearson just wound up and hit it.
Yeah, it was
like what do you now? You're rolling 1-2-3. I don't give a shit who plays wing with Waugh and Kolesar.
I mean, frankly, yeah,
it's not going to matter. Brisson, Schwint, Lavoie, whatever. But then you also think about Olsen will be back eventually. He's week to week. Don't know what that means, but you would hope he's back. Before Christmas.
Definitely. I don't know where they got this number, but I saw a couple of sites saying, estimated return October 30th. And I was like, that's a little soon.
That's soon. Yeah.
Because he hasn't even skated yet. I'm going to say probably before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And if he's back, he's right shotgun with Carlson.
Exactly. Hey, we can do the Swedish line.
Yeah, the Swedish line, and then
Olofsson, Carlson, Holtz.
Yeah, and what are you gonna do against that? You can't. We have 3 effective scoring lines. All 3 of them also can effectively play defense.
Exactly.
Howden kills penalties. Hertl kills penalties. Eichel kills penalties. Carlson, first shorthanded shift. Not maybe not the first shift, but first shorthanded opportunity. Fucking scores.
Exactly.
Last night.
Yeah, and you got to think now with Carlson being back and taking some of the workload off Hertl and Eichel. Mm-hmm. Their minutes might go down moderately. I don't know if that'll reflect in their crazy scoring pace, but in the long term, it's gonna keep those guys fresher.
Yes,
and less prone to injury. And I mean, we're gonna be rolling 3 fucking very good lines,
and you don't have to overwork.
And the 4th line's been good too, because fucking
Kolesar looked really good.
I was gonna say another guy I wanted to call out. Shout out. Call out sounds so negative.
Yeah, shout out,
shout out. But Keaton Kolesar, man, he's had a really good start to the year.
He's looked great, and he scored against the Senators, right?
Yeah, and it was fucking
nasty goal. Yeah, and
just drifting down, and then just fucking wired it over into the corner. Oh my god.
Yeah, and everybody's looked really good. I think sometimes you don't, I mean, not sometimes, you don't want to lose 3 in a row, but sometimes you need that early on to kind of go, guys, you're one of the best hockey teams in the league.
Yeah.
You're going to get back to the mindset. Wake up. Dig in right fucking now. Jesus Christ. Who's not digging in? Fucking that team.
Yeah.
I mean, they've won, but against the Penguins and the Ducks, Sharks.
I was gonna say we're claiming some bragging points for dismantling the Sharks too.
Well, we dismantled the Kings. By all means, the Kings is a good Kings team. We didn't dismantle them, but we beat Ottawa, and Ottawa's been really good, and they've been really scoring, and that was with Linus Ullmark too. In that we put 6 on Linus Ullmark.
That's true. He had a -4 GSA that night.
And that was with one of the best goaltenders in the league, and he was great. I mean, I know he came back from injury, but he's been really good. I know 6-1, that was against that wasn't Kemper, it was Riddick, right?
Yes.
But Riddick was solid up until that shit fest in where was that? It was Ottawa.
Yeah.
Right? It was like a 8-7 overtime win or some shit like that. Like some crazy ass game.
Yep. No save Dave.
Yeah, but I really like the way this team is going. I really like the offense. Defense has improved. Ilya Samsonov's looked excellent. I know he's played 4 games, 3 games, 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
He's looked really good. I think the one big worry right now I have is Aiden Hill.
Same, and it's kind of hard because I feel like my other worry has been the defense for having these stretches where they just seem to collapse. Those stretches are becoming a little fewer and farther in between. I'm guessing we see Hill tomorrow against Calgary, but even Bruce kind of said something in a presser where the reporter phrased it very diplomatically, but he's basically just asking about how he feels about Aiden Hill's game right now, and he's like, well, the sample size is getting larger.
Yeah.
But
he just needs to be better.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because I think the frustration with him boiled over in the Ottawa game where we kept...
Yeah, there's a couple duds where he just...
Well, because where it really seemed to peak was it was an awful turnover by the defense, and he basically just didn't really have a good chance on that, like no goalie would, just because of where it was and how fast it happened. And
right.
But I saw, a lot of people on, Jesse Granger's a goalie guy, so he's always fighting for the goalies in the comments.
Right.
And it's like, well, he didn't have a chance and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but that's why that fucking muffin that he opened the game with, where he was completely out of position and just let a goal in.
Yeah, where it would look
that's
better.
where it bites you in the ass, because now you were behind a goal.
Yeah, exactly. And we played a lot of the game behind up until the end.
You have to stop. You have to stop those, so that way when you do get a break that you don't really have a chance on, you're not fucking trailing again.
Or like with the San Jose game, if you're up high enough and Samsonov makes that mistake he made, you're like, okay, he'll get it next time, but we're up fucking 5-3. We're up 5-2. And it's back into the game. We're going to be okay. Whereas that Ottawa game was a fucking barn burner right up until the end.
Yeah, I was at work, and I was... I won't lie. I was watching on my phone on my desk because
I went to the Silver Knights game instead of working, and then I also watched the game and not worked either.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Nevada Day. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. It was just that game just had rancid vibes, and I was getting frustrated. And then I was like, we're gonna lose. We're gonna fucking lose to Ottawa. And because we lost 3 and then we won 1, and then we're like, we are so back, and then
it tracks perfectly. Yeah.
And then if we lost that one, I'm like, just kidding, we're
so bad. We're so bad again.
Oh no, we suck again. But of course we ended up scoring 3 goals in like a minute 20 or something.
Yeah, I just finished them off, and it wasn't.
The vibe was salvaged.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks sketchy, and maybe we'll be proven wrong, because like I said last episode, we're talking about how the Hertl line needs to do something, and then they did a whole lot of something.
Yeah, maybe we speak into the existence and Aiden Hill gets better.
Yeah.
I hope. Speaking of sketchy things, the Silver Knights are... I know we wanted to talk about it more. They have won 1 game, and that was in Texas. And the games at Lee's Family Forum haven't been particularly close.
No, I went to one with you, and it's pretty bad, man.
Yeah, Kier Schmid doesn't look particularly good.
Yeah, he had such a thrilling preseason.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my god, it's gonna be so good to have this guy in Henderson.
Yeah, he doesn't look particularly great.
I would go beyond that.
Yeah, he looks awful.
Say he looks fucking awful.
And then the offense is just, there's nothing there. There's some games where they score, they'll have 3 goals, but like that's out of desperation because we're down fucking 4-1 or 4-0.
Out of desperation / the other team letting their guard down because they're in cruise control.
We broke Yaroslav Askarov's shutout streak.
That we did.
We hung like 2 on him on the first game and 3. We still lost, but we
broke the shutout streak.
We broke the shutout streak. We got to him mentally, and they're playing the Reign right now, and it's 1-1. So it's just like, you gotta get a win somehow.
It's gonna be another year at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing we talked about. It's not so much like the team's not talented. I think it's more talented than it's been in a while. There's a lot of young talent on the team, and a lot of no name people either. There's decent players on this team, and they should be better.
Because we picked up Lavoie. Sent Lazinski down,
and then we
didn't lose him.
Yeah, and they picked up what's his name, Robert Haig, and like Cormier's been, I think he's been injured, but that defense isn't really that bad. It's Haig, Mayo, Bischoff, Hickey, and then Fleming and Seedoff, or other guys swap in, but like it's not a bad defense.
It's not, and I fucking love Joe Fleming, dude.
Yeah.
I fucking love him.
That man's neck is the size of my my torso.
I just love Fleming. He's like my favorite minor league player.
Yeah, I mean, the team should be better. The offense, like the forwards, aren't even that bad either.
My only explanation is that it is a younger team.
Sure,
suddenly,
sure, totally.
and a lot of these guys kind of graduated, quote unquote, from Savannah last year to the AA.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big jump.
Yeah, I think the oldest guy on the team, like on the like at the forward, I think is Quinny, and Quinny's an AHL lifer, and then Denisenko's not even that old. A lot of the guys are like young, like under 25, under 24 guys, like you said, came off of the ECHL. They're coming out of juniors or coming out of college. Like Braden Bowman, wasn't he in juniors last year? Like there are a ton of guys that are really young, and this is their first experience, but you hope they be better.
Yeah.
Eventually, or like at least prove that they can get better.
Oh yeah, then another signing. We picked up Kalen Addison.
We did, much maligned, the one that we made a joke about last week. We're like, where the fuck did that guy go? And sure enough, he signed an AHL contract.
Turns out he was a free agent. And
yeah,
obviously couldn't get an NHL deal anywhere.
Yeah, I mean he immediately was on PP1 on Friday. He has a great shot, and then I think he assisted on the goal today. Just that happened.
He has offense. He cannot defend to save his life,
and that's who I forgot about in the defense.
And he's because he's
they need a
he's the definition of like dare I say a Lane Hudson type, a small skilled defenseman that can't defend.
They needed a Lucas Cormier fill-in because that's kind of what they're missing, like a smaller, speedy defenseman that could shoot. Especially in the AHL, where the game's like not nearly as fast and not nearly as predicated on,
and where you can get away with being small and playing bad defense.
And you think about like, well, Shea Theodore is a offensive defenseman. He's also like 6'1".
Yeah, and he doesn't shine defensively, but he's not bad defensively.
Exactly.
Jay Fresh posted his micro stats, and there was one or two that he was red in, like denying zone entries and stuff. But honestly, I felt like, and he even said he's like honestly, I think these numbers are kind of skewed. It's like it makes it seem like he's bad defensively, but not really.
Not really. He's good. And I know you made that joke where all the Montreal fans were like, post Lane Hudson. He was just like, you're going to be mad if I do.
He was like, you're not going to like it.
You're not going to like it because his underlying metrics are awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the Silver Knights can be better. I think it might be a matter of fact of, I don't know, maybe Schmid needs to go down to the ECHL for like a week.
Yeah.
And then maybe try out Lindblom and Seville or something like that. Because he's played every game. Schmidt's played every game so far, aside from I think like one in Texas. I think it was like the second game against the Stars.
I know they sent Vikman down to Tahoe.
Yeah,
and I think Papirni's up with the team right now. But
why?
I no clue.
Maybe I mean, I would want one of those high-end guys to get a chance. Speaking of the ECHL, they had their first game.
I saw that.
They lost in overtime 4-3, but hey, they're scoring. They had an overtime game.
It was funny because someone posted a picture like, first game in franchise history in Lake Tahoe, and they posted a picture of the venue, which kind of reminded me of the Orleans, to be honest.
Yeah, there was like no backstop and like
and there wasn't like the stands were empty, and of course all these assholes were like, "Wow, looks like it's gonna be real successful. What a rough look." And then the guy that took the picture is like, "Well, that was when I first got here before warm ups. It's filled now." And he posted a second picture, and it was packed. It was packed. And I was like, "Okay,
it's a fun place to watch hockey, and Lake Tahoe's a fun place." I think those guys that are up there, I love it. I saw some names that checked the roster, like Jet Jones is up there. I think Cholak is playing. Vikman and Seville, all those guys are out there. And it's even better because it's all of an hour and a half plane ride if they have to bring anybody.
Exactly. Nevada hockey.
And
baby.
then, speaking about some prospects that we could see eventually, I know we were talking about it was Sepavilov and Euronin both having crazy starts to their junior seasons. I think Euronen was like 10 points.
I thought Sepulveda was with Henderson.
He went back to juniors. They sent him back down.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I think so. I think I saw he was with juniors this year. They were going to bring him back up. Yeah, I don't think he started the season. Or maybe he went to the ECHL. But Euronen had like, what? It was like 5 games or something, but he's got like 10, 12 points, something insane. And, that's what the team's looking for, those diamonds in the rough. That might take longer to develop, but, everybody's like, oh, why is their Silver Knights not good enough? I'm like, would you rather the Gold Knights be fucking disgusting?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have your AHL team be good?
It's like, why
you can't get both of them.
It's like, why are the Silver Knights not better? It's like, because we had to send David Edstrom over to San Jose to get fucking Tomas Hertl.
And you know what?
Scoring over a point per game and
if ever
being a special team wizard and dominating faceoffs and playing in all situations.
Yeah. And, well, he's in Nashville now, right? In their system, because he went over in the Escrow trade, right? Mm-hmm. But then, it's also, Brisson's probably going to be back down there eventually. And if it ever came to it...
He's waiver exempt and he doesn't have a point, so...
And so is Holtz. And if Holtz had to go down, to get some more time or something. But they'll be all right. I'd rather... I know being a season ticket holder, you want to see wins, but sometimes for AHL, you're more there for the fun than for the play. Like, what was that Wednesday night? It was Hispanic Heritage Night. They had 2 Lucha Libre matches.
Yeah.
And those were a ton of fun.
Cool. Yeah, just right there in the concourse, that a wrestling ring set up, and
it was so much fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was sick.
And then the announcer doing
speaking Spanish all night. Yeah, he was doing the goal announcements in Spanish, and then doing the 1 minute to go, and everybody organically screamed "Gracias."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, I think, like Henderson, I know, so we'll talk about it more, but it's not that much to talk about. They're 1-5 or something like that.
It's basically just a place to go drink fucking beer.
Uchaz has looked good when he's playing.
I think he scored his first goal the other day.
Yes, scored his first goal. Yes, the other day. It was the first goal of the game, I think. He scored, and then Bischoff has looked better. I think he's coming back from injury. He's not going to be anything in the league. That was kind of like the missed prospect. But a few of the guys that look pretty solid. It's just they're just not scoring. Mm-hmm. But that'll come. But with that, the Knights just the Golden Knights just look next level.
The offense does.
The offense does. Defense will be better. It could be worse, Jacob. You could be desperately hoping a 24-year-old goaltender can save you from your troubles.
Yep, true that.
Because the Avalanche put in a Noonan, and all of a sudden having some semi-competent goaltending means you win some games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Everyone's like, oh, it's the classic. The Avs are back. The Avs are so back. And I'm like, no, they're not.
They're doing the same thing they did to Georgiev. They're just going to ride a Noonan until he's fucking tired. And guess who we got to go back to? The guy that was dog shit.
Yeah. I don't care. I like I said the other day, I knew they're going to come back eventually.
Yeah,
I knew
totally.
Edmonton was going to stabilize eventually. It doesn't change anything for me.
No.
These are still bad teams.
Yeah.
They have some superstars. They have some of the best superstars, but the teams overall are bad.
Ross Colton's not going to continue this terror he's having goal scoring. And I think Jonathan Drouin is injured now. Mm-hmm. And then Lakonen, they have no idea when he's going to be back. And then Landeskog, no idea when he's going to be back.
It does kind of answer the question of are they really going to be okay with Val Nichushkin after the way he screwed them over 2 playoffs in a row?
They're going to have to be okay.
They really don't have an option, do they?
Yeah, either Val Nichushkin plays or, look what you got. You got Parker Kelly or Chris Wagner playing on the team, or Ivan. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And that defense has really not been that great. I know the numbers for Kale McCarr are great.
He's also he has all these points, and he's also a minus.
Yeah, he's got 12 or 13 points, pretty high. I mean, the highest scoring defenseman in the league, but he's a -3.
He's tied for second along with Jack Eichel and Artemi Panarin and Kirill Kaprizov.
And all those guys have something different about them. I know they're all forwards, but they're also all positives.
Yes. I also really love that 2 Golden Knights make up number 1, and then one of the ties for second place.
Yeah, no, that's and then Barbashev's like what, second or third in goals scored.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that top line is fucking disgusting, and I know your worry was like, oh, don't want to be a one line team. Not a one line team anymore.
Yeah, the Hertl line, man, is
like the more I know, we talk about it more. I mean, Hertls look great.
They look so good.
Like there is a play. I don't know if it led to a goal. I think it did, but there is a play. It did because it was Hertl and Howden coming in together. Like Howden kind of like broke up the entry from. They're trying to get to the wall on the at center ice, and Howden kind of cut it off, but the Hertl just picked the puck off the San Jose player, and they both come screaming in, and I think that was Howden's first goal.
Yeah, you could just tell they're clicking because just the passing was so crisp, and then the anticipation and just knowing where to go, and so they had 2 goals last night, and then Dory had
a goal. Dory had a goal last night too on the power play.
Yeah, so he's heating up. That's another thing maybe we should talk about. Dude, is the power play finally fixed?
I guess. I mean,
this is literally the best it's ever been.
This is the best power period. I think they're also like a top 5 power play in the league right now.
Yeah.
Like I think they're well over 60 something percent, and we've always been awful, like comically awful. Like, but yeah, and the puck movement looks good. Everybody's moving. They're not standing still anymore.
I think it's a couple of things. I think it's Hertl and Stone.
Now you have 2 guys that can screen the goaltender or do like a double stack.
Because Stone's so strong on the goal line.
Yep.
And then Hertl's just always hanging out there, just strong in general.
And then Jack's he has such crazy vision, such crazy passing, and then you got Shea up there.
Yeah,
and then the same thing.
And then another thing is, it was Olsen who was doing this, and now Dorofiev's there, and it's the same mindset, but it's finally that fabled shoot first mindset.
Yep.
Like, because one of those goals, I forgot which game it was, but like Dorofiev, like the puck got to him and he didn't, dust it off and start looking around and pass it.
Wristed, yeah.
He just immediately shot it and it boop. We're like,
that's
shit.
That's what killed me about even during the cup run. I know we won a cup, but
even the power play wasn't great. It was okay.
even then, it's my whole thing was like nobody would shoot but Jack or Marshy.
Yeah.
Like Stevenson would have a clear lane to shoot and he wouldn't shoot.
Yeah.
And you're pulling your hair out because like Steve-O, you have a good shot. Just bury it. Like,
yeah, because he's a great passer and that's definitely his strong suit. But at the same time, shoot the fucking puck, man.
I know on NHL 24 you can do the pass shoot bias. Mm-hmm. Our power play is fucking just hammering 100 to shoot.
No, for real. Hey, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. Yeah, the power plays look
if
great.
Everyone's shooting, and then you got Stone and or Hertl at the net. More often than not,
how much are special teams now going to improve, especially on the kill? Because the kill has been great, which is something like we were really good at. Mm-hmm. Now with Carlson back,
which that is something that cracked me up. I don't know if you noticed with the LA game. Are you at that game, or were you watching on TV?
I was watching on TV. I didn't go.
Yeah, it was on ESPN.
Yep.
Oh yeah, 'cause it was the Frozen Frenzy night.
Yeah.
It started at fucking 8:20 p.m.
8:20. Yeah, I was like, we could have gone, and then I was like looking at how all the games were like taking too long. I'm like, I'm not going to this game because I'm not gonna get home until like midnight.
Yeah.
I gotta work the next day.
Same. But anyways, what cracked me up is I forgot who, but the announcer on ESPN. Of course, every time LA got a power play, he had to talk about how awful our penalty kill's been. And we sure killed a lot of penalties in that game.
I think we killed all of them, right?
Yeah,
including they were like giving the Kings like fucking soft ass calls too.
Well, as I was gonna say, that included a stretch of nearly
4 minutes. Yeah,
well, nearly 6 minutes of consecutive power play.
Yeah, because they give Haig a double minor for a high stick on Byfield, right?
Exactly, because we were on the PK, and then before it ended, I think
right before it ended,
we got the double minor. So yeah, it was more or less
6 minutes, give or take a couple seconds.
Yeah. And we killed it.
Killed it. And you know what? That's great. And then that's just with, I guess maybe the defensive pairings changing, everybody feeling a little more comfortable. And again, that was without Carlson. That was a PK. That was Eichel and Stone, Howden and Hertl. So team's looking better. I know we at home you would want them to look better at home. They just have to win some away games, which I think they will. They'll have some games that are kind of gimmies here and there. But again, the Tampa and the Florida games were close. I mean, Florida went into fucking overtime.
Yeah.
Should have won the game. Tampa Bay should have won the game. but that was our first road trip against difficult teams.
Yeah, because I think we had the Calgary game coming up, and then I think
Tampa Bay was undefeated up until they played Ottawa, right?
Yeah, and then I think after
Calgary, we go on a little road trip, right?
Yeah, 'cause I think we go to LA.
Yeah, and then
that's like the
Utah and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, in Utah, man, they started off strong, but those injuries have been
it's like, well,
devastating.
maybe losing like 2 of your top 3 defensemen for the entire season essentially isn't the best, because like what, Durzi's 4 to 6 months.
It's basically like
that's the season.
Yeah, that's basically the season.
And then Marino was like 2 to 4 months, half the season. So now Mikhail Sergachev is going to be playing half an hour a night, and you hope his like reconstructed ankle can keep up, because he broke it last season, and that defense is not great. It's not good. Like it's like,
because even before the injury, before they lost Jersey, it was kind of,
well, Marino wasn't even playing either, because he hasn't played at all.
But but even then, it was still kind of like, well, they were winning games by scoring.
Yeah, by the
they would also get hemmed in their own end for like 2 minutes at a time.
The phrase that you love to use, the force of the blow alone, and God damn it, was Dylan Gunther fucking battering people.
Yeah, but I think I said this earlier, but it's kind of an example right now. The whole, offense comes from good defense.
And they have they can't.
Their offense is dried up, and I'm like, really, what happened? They have good offensive players. I'm like, it's because they're getting hemmed into their own zone for 3 minutes at a time.
No one's able to pass it.
I said they can't break out the puck. Fucking none of the defensemen can get the puck to the forwards.
Yeah, because you got old ass Robert Bertuzzo and Ilya Kolchynyak, who's been in with Tucson his entire career.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have that kid was like Maverick Lamoureux is gonna play, and
famous for his parents fucking French kissing during the draft. Which I was like, that's a baller move right there.
Yeah, I mean,
that's some shit I would do.
Good job, good job, man, good job.
I'd be like, look, we made him.
We made him. This is how we did it.
We made
just
him.
Like this is how it started.
It's the fruit of our loins. Now in the NHL.
Speaking of the Central, Nashville has won 2 games, and Marshy had a killer goal in overtime.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking sick. Which I'm happy for him. I don't know what it is, man, but like, why do our fans like just feel the need to like fucking like stab players on their way out? Like,
that's only reserved for David Perron, because he was so mean to us.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
David Perron, he's a good person, and I was reading about his whole ordeal with his kid, or his baby, and everything that's going on. But he has his best games when he plays against the Golden Knights.
Yeah, he was taking a pound of flesh.
But
every time he played.
It's literally like a vindictive ex. Like,
no, for real, because like people are so fucking vicious about Marshy, and like we talked about it before. We don't need to go re-through it. It's like, you know what? He left in free agency. It happens. Yeah. It happens. I mean, I don't know why people don't have that same attitude about Stevenson. Stevenson to me is the one that really was like, well, I'm leaving to get the bag. You guys can't pay me.
Because Marshy didn't even get paid that much. It was only $6 million, I think.
No, it was like $5 million, I think.
Yeah, and then maybe Stevenson got paid 6.025 or something like that.
Yeah,
so that's like all of them went and got more money, but of course it's Marshy, because he's a little bit more talkative. He's a little bit more, he's a little bit more out there. But like, yeah, even like players that like obviously we are not as a people do it, but like as a franchise has kind of backstab, like the whole Fleury thing.
Yeah, there was a weird contingent of people that were just like, well, he was bad anyway, LMAO. I'm like, shut up.
No, he's gonna be he's gonna go down as like a top. I know we were on our Marc-Andre Fleury defense a few weeks ago, but he's probably gonna go down as a top 5 goaltender all time.
Yeah, and
pretty easily. I mean,
first ballot Hall of Famer.
I'd only put like Brodeur, the obvious ones, Brodeur, Waugh, Hasek, maybe one other name you probably could throw out there, but like, I wouldn't put Curtis Joseph over him. I wouldn't put most modern era guys in his era. Like I wouldn't even put like Tim Thomas better than him, or.
Well, it's just so many factors. It's the longevity alone. He's
the last great Canadian goaltender.
Yeah, he's a dying breed.
Put that on his biography. The last
great Canadian goaltender.
But yeah, it gets there's some times where like, oh, there's being mean to Knights fans because everybody's assholes. There's sometimes where I'm like, guys, you need to fucking cool down. Like,
no, exactly, because I get it, because like I do be fighting people online.
Totally,
when
yeah.
people are just like in their mindless anti-Vegas circle jerk, and that's when I'll bring out the biting comments. But there are definitely people that
Silver Knights are up 3-1 against the Reign with
thank God.
6 minutes into the second period.
Thank God. keep going, fellas. Keep going.
Oh, please. But yeah,
there are definitely people that have way too big of a chip on their shoulder, and like
I think like once you win a cup, you should be able to like take some of that chip off of. Like, of course, like you get pissed off when everybody makes its LTIR joke. I'm like, okay, well, if your ownership cared, they'll use it. But like,
I'm more than willing to point out when someone can't do math.
Yeah, exactly. That's that thing. But like, sometimes we obviously we're more hated, but they hate you because you're good.
Yeah,
and they hate you because look at the Bruins. They've been good for so long, and that's why people hate them. I look at the World Series right now, the Yankees and the Dodgers. People hate both of those franchises because they've been good for a long time, and that's why they're making up stories. But like, sometimes it's like don't have to be like such a persecution complex that you're like you hate everything that's left the franchise. Like I've seen people like, oh, Ryan Reeves, like if he was still here, he wouldn't be playing this and this. I'm like, Ryan Reeves is like still great in the community. He lives here. Like
exactly.
he trains.
I fucking love Revo.
Yeah, he trains with the team. Like
yeah, exactly. Because it's stupid.
Yeah,
it's and like you said, it really is that spurned ex feeling.
Yeah. Especially when guys go out of their own volition. It's like, and for all the talk that happened with Marshy, it was a pretty clean like after the contracts were signed. It was
a much cleaner. The phrase I use is we've had a lot messier divorces in the past.
Oh yeah, the Fleury one, namely Robin Leonard just finished. Like that wasn't even like anybody's fault other than Robin Leonard. Like the Tatar situation, Max Pacioretty. There's plenty of other names that even Cody Glass. Like
yeah, I forgot who I was talking to, but I was talking about Stevenson, and it was just like something it was like either like he had a good play or a good highlight, or I actually, you know what it is? I think I showed someone a picture of the salmon photo shoot that they did before the season.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun.
And the Stevenson one where he looks like he's on the poster of like a romantic comedy,
like
lying on his back, looking up wistfully. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I like to see that. Put a smile on my face. Yeah. And then I showed them, and then they're immediately like, oh yeah, NHL Network says the worst fucking contract of the summer was Stevenson, so good riddance, blah blah blah. And I was like, Jesus,
that's the first thing you think of.
I know exactly. I'm like, this man brought a championship to the town. By the way,
and it's not even going to age that bad. The cap's going to go up. Yeah, I'm like, all right, that was the worst contract out of the in the offseason, but that's not even a top 25 worst contract in the NHL.
No, that's what people don't realize is, and I said
many worse contracts.
I said it at the time, but the way the cap's going up, I'm like 6.5. Like that's going to be what fucking
nothing.
That's going to be what third liners make in like 5 years from now.
Dakota Joshua is going to make that on his next contract.
Yeah, exactly. By the time Stevenson starts to age out of that contract, that's going to be what bottom six guys make anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and we're going to be like, oh yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm like, yeah, no shit. That's the way money works.
Yeah, and he has the skill set too, where he could probably just kill penalties for the last year of his contract.
Exactly.
And that alone would be worth it.
Now that we're talking about some players, Jacob.
Oh.
Also, Halloween. Do you want to play a game?
Yes.
I promise is end with you in a bear trap and drugged up and.
Oh. Boo.
All right, I'm gonna read off some stats for you, and I want you to guess. It's gonna be 6 forwards, but I'm gonna compare 3 pairs of forwards, a goaltender, and then a set of defensemen.
Just across the league, or
across the league, but obviously it's Knights themed.
Okay,
so I'm gonna give you.
I'm gonna guess either former Knights or players that we've made fun of, or players that we compete against a lot.
Precisely.
Okay.
Here you go. All right, pair 1. They're both forwards. 9 games played, 3 goals, 12 assists, 15 points, plus 8.
Does it have to be on the same team, or is it just?
It's gonna be this. it's gonna be two different players.
No, I know, but like, okay. Well, I mean, like, are they just any two players?
Any
from
two
any
players,
teams?
yeah.
Okay.
And then player number 2 is 8 games played, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. He's a +1. Who are these two players?
Give me player 1 again.
9 games played, 3 goals, 12 assists, 15 points, +8.
3 goals, 12 assists. I don't know. Give me a hint. Give me something.
He plays for the Golden Knights.
Oh, who has 3 goals and is a +8? I was just looking at numbers.
Keep in mind the point mark, 15.
15. Oh, Eichel?
Yep, this is Jack Eichel. You want to guess who the player number 2 is?
Connor McDavid.
It is Connor McDavid.
It's funny because as soon as you said 3 goals, that I was like, I know there's one famous player with exactly 3 goals.
All right. Pair number 2, both forwards again. This probably is going to be super easy. Player number 1, 9 games played, 4 goals, 13 assists, 17 points, +8.
Mark Stone.
Player number 2, 8 games played, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points, 0.
What was it? 3 goals, 1 assist?
4 goals, 3 assists, 7
7
points, 0. So he's even.
I don't know, Draisaitl.
Leon Draisaitl. All right. Pair number 3, both forwards again. Number 1, 9 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points, and a 0.
Hertl?
Yep, that's Tomas Hertl. Player number 2, 9 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points, -5.
Marshy.
This is Chandler Stevenson.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Maybe that was a bad contract.
So, and now we're going to go goaltenders. So, goaltender number 1 is 4 games played. He's 3-0-1, 9 goals allowed, 2.21 goals allowed per game. Save percentage is 0.932 with a goal saves above expected of 4.4.
That's not Sammy, is it?
That's Ilya Samsonov.
Jesus. Forgive me, Sammy. I was not up to date on your GSA.
Goaltender number 2 is 3 games played, 3-0, 10 goals allowed, but he's got a 3.28 goals allowed per game. I'm sorry, a 0.884 save percentage, and a negative 1.3 goal save above expected.
You said his record is 3-0?
He's 3-0, but he's not playing well.
So he's winning, but looking bad.
The team is winning in front of him.
Vasilevsky?
This is Logan Thompson.
Oh, yikes! I should have known.
So remember that quote beginning of the year? Oh, we'll see if I'm a good goaltender with different defense.
No.
No. This is my...
Well, I just remember getting into it with a Caps fan because I said, I'm like, is this... Actually, no. I guess it kind of confirms that they're playing okay in front of him and he's just not being good. But
Yep.
yeah, disregard.
Yeah. So last set of players. These are all defensemen. I'm going to give you... There's 6 of them. I'm going to give you all 6 of them. But we can go player by player and you can see who that is. So, first player, he's got 9 games played, no goals, 11 assists, 11 points, is a +7.
Petro?
That's Alex Pietrangelo.
I was going to say, I was like that. I was just looking at his goal, at his stuff today. 8 goals, or not 8 goals, 8 points in 3 games, by the way.
Yeah, and he's only second to Cale Makar, and he is also a +7. So, Norris trophy incoming.
Yeah, brief sidebar to say that. As I said in the offseason, people that were sleeping on Alex Pietrangelo or acting like he was trade bait or we needed to get rid of him. Or he's too old and he's not good. You're all wrong, and I'm right. So just
he
keep
looks
that in
great.
mind.
Player number 2, he has 8 games played. He has 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points, is a +2. He plays for a East Coast team. He was also just sent down to the AHL.
The only person I can think of that was sent down was fucking that Frankenstein from New York.
No, not the Frankenstein from New York. This is Seamus Casey from the Devils. I'm doing all this to prove a point. You'll see later.
I was gonna say this could go for a semi-viral social media post.
I'm proving this to make a point.
Send me these numbers afterwards. I'll make a post about it.
Next player, 9 games played, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. He's a -1.
Is it a Knight?
No, he is a Maple Leaf.
Oh Jesus! Is it Pappy?
What?
Is it Pappy?
No, this is OEL.
Oh, okay.
These are all defensemen.
Oh, you said that. My bad.
But again, I'm doing this to prove a point. You'll see in a few minutes. Player number 4. He has 7 games played, no goals, 4 assists, 4 points, and is a +2. He plays for Columbus.
Sean Manahan?
Nope.
No, why do I keep saying forwards? You said defenseman. Sorry.
This is you don't know his name. His name is Jake Christensen. I'm again doing this to prove a point.
I was gonna say I could not name a single defenseman from that team.
All right, player number 5. You'll probably know the stat line because it's very good. He has 9 games played, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points, and has a +5. And he's a defenseman in the Central.
Brock Faber.
This is Philip Broberg. And our final player, the reason why I got here, he has 8 games played. He has 0 goals, 5 assists, 5 points, and is a -3.
Jesus.
Who is that defenseman?
Ty Emberson.
That is Lane Hudson.
Ha! Jesus.
I'm here to prove a point. Lane Hudson isn't actually that good.
No.
Seamus Casey
Not
played
actually
8 games, and he's a +2.
That's good.
He is
that's deep. Okay.
Yeah,
a young guy. He's young.
He was literally a rookie. Seamus Casey is literally almost, I think, a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And also I pulled in Jake Christensen because I had no idea who that was. And
Me neither, but not bad stats.
not bad stats. So what I'm saying is sometimes you can overhype prospects based on just skating ability alone and not recognizing and head fakes. I should have put plus. I should have given away by plus 305 head fakes.
Exactly. Fucking 323 head fakes per game per 60. Then again, we got those super sweet viral videos of all the fans at the Bell Center in the preseason standing up and clapping every time Lane Hudson his skate touched the ice. So
that's I think you mentioned it last week. How fucking lame is that?
It really
is.
Like,
be excited before your team and be obviously I jump up and down and scream when the Knights win, but be fucking realistic.
It's I was gonna say I feel like people share that shit as an example.
Oilers fans don't even do that.
They really love hockey. There's just something so special about just how much they love hockey, and I'm to me, there's something sad about that level of excitement over a nothing burger, and I'm just damn, you guys really haven't won in 30-something years.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, even the Oilers don't do that for Draisaitl and McDavid and Bouchard. They'll cheer, but they're not gonna jump up and scream and act like he's gonna do anything.
Jumping around like a dipshit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I even looking at the stats, I don't get the hype at all. I think it's just purely because he's a Montreal prospect.
I've noticed that it's kind of died down in the last week or so, or maybe I just haven't been paying attention.
Yeah,
but I think it's because now that he's actually playing games and not really popping, it's oh
yeah, he's gonna finish the year at about, I would say he's 5 points in 8 games. He's gonna finish the year with 40 points, maybe. I doubt it.
That feels high.
I think I would say his ceiling's I think that's being generous. I would say probably 25 points, 20 to 25 points, and still be a minus.
Yeah, he's gonna finish with 28 points and be a -8.
Oh, more than a -8. He's probably gonna be a minus 15. Montreal's not a good team.
Yeah,
they're not a good team, and now that we see them playing, maybe they needed Patrick Laine.
Well, I mean, we talked about it a few weeks ago, but they finished 8th in their division last year for a reason.
Yeah, and
I don't think bringing up Lane Hudson and having Patrick Laine is going to change too much.
You know what's going to change, Jacob, is that they, Sam Montembeault had one good game, and then he got fucking shit rocked the next 2 games.
Yeah. What's going to help
Canadians
them?
are back.
what's going to help them is that Buffalo is just going to be so bad that, it's like
Montreal won't finish 8 because Buffalo's been so terrible.
Well, it's kind of like the whole like, oh, if you're getting chased by a bear, you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun your friend.
And Buffalo's always that friend.
Exactly. It's like, well, you don't have to outrun 8th place.
Eighth place is locked up, guys. It's going to be okay.
Exactly. You just have to be slightly better than Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, God, Buffalo is hilariously bad. I mean, even like we can take a tour around the division like we did last week. New Jersey looks great. The Rangers look great.
I feel like New Jersey's kind of cooled off.
Markstrom had a bad couple of games. You would know. You had him on. Thanks to him, I climb back into our fantasy matchup.
Probably the only reason it's so close. God damn it! Because I also have Mark Stone just scoring fucking 4 points a night.
Shesterkin actually didn't look too great the last few games he played. I mean, I still think it's gonna be the Rangers and the Devils. I think that's without question.
Yeah.
Then the Metro, it's gonna be Boston and the Leafs and Florida.
I don't know. Boston's been pretty bad, dude.
I think that we brought it up before. Like this year is gonna be the most parity. Like Columbus has actually had a pretty good start to the season. Like,
they're probably motivated.
100%. I would be too.
It's funny because I love Empty Netters, favorite hockey podcast, but they're Boston boys.
Oh,
one of them he posted on social media. He's like, I forgot what the meme was, but it made me laugh. But he's basically POV is like me realizing that the Bruins defense might not actually be good.
No.
And I didn't say anything smart ass because I like them, but I was kind of thinking like, there was kind of never really a reason to think they would be good.
Yeah, because it's like Brandon Carlo and Hampus Lindholm and
Nikita Zadorov
playing top 4 minutes when he's really barely
obviously Charlie McAvoy's
great. Charlie Mark, duh, yeah.
But there's kind of a drop off.
Yeah, but I think Lindholm's miles are starting to catch up to him. All the pucks he takes. Same with Carlo. Both guys are getting up there in age. But obviously McAvoy's amazing. But when the number one scoring or the number one expected goals line in the league is your 4th line in Boston. That's good, I guess, for the 4th line, but it's not good for you as a team.
Exactly.
The name on that list should be David Pastrnak, and
because that's another thing too. I think Marchand's his age is kind of showing, and and just the whole.
It turns out Elias Lindholm's actually not a top line center.
Yeah, no, he's. He could be
he's a good middle 6 guy. He's a utility tool.
He could be a second line center if you have a really strong first line center.
And that's the thing that also Boston was always what's going to happen at center depth, and they didn't really fix it.
Nope. And then, but yeah, back to the defense real quick, because what killed me is how all off season, every time someone talked about that defense looks good, they're just so big. They're so big. They're big. They're just so big. Okay, I'm not gonna. I don't remember if we talked about this on the air or just privately, but that doesn't automatically make you good.
No, they still have to be mobile. Our defense is big, but they're mobile
and smart.
It's smart, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I know Cale Makar is a minus, but he's also not big, but he's smart, so he can score. You
Quinn Hughes isn't very big.
Yeah, but he's smart and he can play defense. You can't just win. It's not 1965. You're not winning to games because you got to set a 6'3" plus defenseman that can't skate for shit. And
exactly,
Charlie McAvoy is hoping to God that his defensive pairing is making it back with him.
Yeah, and their PK is fucking awful.
Yeah, their
PK is awful, and they won't stop taking penalties.
Yeah, and they're a high penalized team because they're to be shitheads. Well, Brad Marchand likes to be one, or they're sloppy. Yeah. Speaking of bad defense, it's also the same concept. They could be good at offense, but doesn't mean they should be on the ice. Pittsburgh's defense is awful.
Oh my god! It's so funny because their first 3 games or so, we're oh my god, Pittsburgh's back, they're looking good. Fell apart pretty fucking quick.
And then fucking Edmonton caved him in the other night.
Yeah,
4-0.
Yeah,
and then Jari got sent down to Wilkes-Barre. Yeah,
yeah, it's brutal. And because I think we were talking about it one night, I was like. After literally just 1 or 2 games with Jari, I was like, bro,
he's awful.
It's you can't play. He's literally it was like Jack Campbell last year. I'm he's unplayable. You might have to waive him.
I'm sure the Penguins would love to have Marc-Andre Fleury on their team.
Jesus, honestly,
probably an upgrade over.
Yeah.
Not probably. He is an upgrade over. I know Gustafson's been playing really well for Minnesota.
Fleury got the win the other night.
Yeah, Fleury got the win.
He had that cute little TV interview moment where he said hi to his kids.
Yeah.
That cracked me up.
Yeah, they brought up, but the Ping has brought up Blomqvist.
Yeah, he looks good, but he's a fucking kid.
He's a child, and here we go again, just putting all your hopes and dreams in.
We're like, well, it's an 82-game season. Sidney Crosby's legacy's at risk.
So you're gonna play 80 games, and you're 21. Have fun,
and don't blow this, kid.
Don't blow this, because we'll kill you.
It's Sidney Crosby, kid. Don't blow it.
I mean, much like the
and surprisingly, their bottom six has been pretty good.
Yeah, that's the thing we're talking about.
Been gone.
Well, their top six is Sidney Crosby, the corpse of Evgeny Malkin, and Brian Rust when his bones aren't brittle.
And it's funny because I don't want to talk shit too much because those two were been so good for so long.
Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah,
but
they're incredible.
It was killing me how 3-4 games of the season people are like, oh my god, Gino's leading the league in scoring, and it's. The last time he did that, he won the Hart, and it's so magical, and wow, we're just seeing this revitalization, and then 2 weeks later, and it's like, oh, just kidding, he's not even in the top 10, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole concept of early season is you have to temper your expectations. I know we had our own takes, and we're like, oh, this team is good, this team is this, but early on in the season is when you can have those mistakes and have those losses and work on your game. Just because Evgeny Malkin was leading the league in scoring after fucking 3 games or a week does not mean he's going to lead the league in scoring at the end of the year.
Yeah, and likewise, we're talking about how good our guys have been. That's going to cool off eventually.
Eventually, but that's the thing, though. They're still young enough. They still know they have the ability to keep that going. I think Jack Eichel can be over a point per game player. I think Mark Stone... Well, Jack Eichel has been over a point per game player. Mark Stone can be a point per game player. The way Barbie is shooting, I think he can be top 10 in the league in goals by the end of the year. It's
if only just by having 2 of the best playmakers in the league on his line.
It's the underlying metrics of the team that
just Barbie, Ivan, just go to the net and tap it in. Okay, we'll do everything else.
That's the thing. They all look good together. They mesh well together. The thing with the Penguins is, Gino and Sid have a long story career. They're the best, modern, their era, the Gen X, early millennial era, early millennial era hockey players. Period. They're the best of their generation, and Ovi's third to them probably.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be almost 40. I think. Gino is gonna be 40 soon.
Yeah,
the Russian gas doesn't last forever.
Exactly. And what's really not helping them is Erik Karlsson and Chris Letang are fucking
abysmal.
Awful, awful.
What, Jacob? I want to ask you this question. You know what we should do rather than keeping a good potential young defenseman? Should we keep Erik Karlsson and Chris Letang, or should we trade P.O. Joseph to? The Blue Jackets to the Blues.
Yeah.
For nothing. Yeah. No, let's trade him.
Well, Erik
Karlsson.
He had 100 points a couple seasons
minus ago. 27.
He won
minus 27.
Alex, he won the Norris. You don't give the Norris to bad defensemen just because
apparently you do.
Just because they put up points on a bad team with no structure and no rules.
And you're the only person that can score. But that defense is awful. I mean, I think also it's they're trying so much with Sid and Gino to put a wing on there, or trying to mix up the top 6 where Ricard Raquel and fucking Brian Rust, and you had to send Rutger McGroarty down because he didn't do shit.
Did you see that thing with the Jets fans chanting, "Where is?"
Yeah, because they played. Speaking of the Jets, Jacob, why do we doubt the Jets every year?
Also, can I throw a stat line at you real quick before we move on to the Jets?
Yeah.
10 games played, 1 goal, 5 assists, -7.
Is that Erik Karlsson?
Yeah.
Tracks there.
Career -106.
Yeah, he's a career awful defenseman. So, I don't give a shit who you are. You can be the biggest Sharks fan in the world. Erik Karlsson's not a good defenseman.
No.
He's purely all offense. Just play him on fucking wing at this point and hope he scores.
Honestly,
it's not worth leaving a defensive spot for a guy that doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Kalen Addison plays in the AHL. Doesn't play good defense. And everybody's like, well, offensive defensemen, that's a concept. I'm like, well, Kel McCarr plays defense. Brock Faber's a pretty goddamn good defenseman in his own right.
Exactly.
And he's a offensive guy. Charlie McAvoy.
Yep. Roman
Adam
Yossi.
Fox, Roman Yossi, Shea Theodore.
They're all offensive guys, but they can all play good defense.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an excuse. I don't care if he's been in the league for the longest he has. He's just ridden on the coattails of nobody else scoring on his team.
Yep.
And now he's on a team that should score more and he doesn't have shit to do.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, but then move on to the Jets. Fucking wagon. Like, what, 7-0? 8-0?
8-0.
Good Lord. When do we play them? We play them soon, right?
Oh, God, I hope not.
I feel like we play them in the next, within the next month.
Hopefully that's their first downswing of the season.
Look what happened to us last year with the Oilers.
Yeah.
We killed their run.
Well, it's funny because I was kind of like, man, every time. Sorry, I brought up the app real quick to check our schedule, and the Red Wings are currently beating the Oilers.
Was it 2-1?
Mm-hmm. God, I hate the NHL app so much.
Terrible.
Where's the fucking schedule? There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we play LA and then Utah. We don't play Winnipeg for a while.
Oh, sweet.
Black Friday.
Okay, so after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which one am I supposed to do on Thanksgiving? You're gonna be gone.
I'm gonna be in Jersey.
Joyzy.
I mean, we could. I'm sure we can figure out how to record an episode, but
I'm not talking about the podcast.
Having
I'm talking
fun.
About who's gonna get drunk on me on Wednesday night? That's the drunk holiday of the year, the night before Thanksgiving.
Just imagine it. And
that's when a whole calendar year's worth of tension exits everyone's bodies as they prepare for the holiday season.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be tensed up. So. But yeah, the Jets, they've looked really good. Josh Morrissey's looked good. They've all looked great. I think it's the same thing that happens every year. Is they always start really hot, they coast, they casually finish first in the Central, and they lose in the first round.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that's kind of where I was going with it. Where I was like, wait, why are we doubting them again? And then, I remember how their last two playoffs went, and I was like, oh, that's
they literally had 110 something points last season.
Yeah, and then
they got eliminated. And then Hellbuck got fucking ripped around by Colorado. I think the Central, the top end of the Central, still be good.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm surprised they've lost a couple games. Dallas, they started off hot.
Mm.
They've kind of regressed to the mean, but that's what happens when your defense includes Matt Dumba and Bushkin.
I think they'll be fine though.
They'll be okay. I think Wyatt Johnson needs to score. He hasn't been good.
Yeah,
he's probably good on the ice in his own right, but he hasn't scoring. Hasn't had really assists. I would know. I have on my fantasy team.
I was like, oh, you're keeping up on Wyatt Johnson, eh?
Yeah, I'm keeping up on fucking Logan Stankoven. He's been really good.
Has he?
Yeah, he's got 8 assists.
Stank man for the Calder.
He's been solid. The Central's been actually really good overall too. Minnesota's been good.
Yeah, Minnesota. I'm sure they have, but for a while the whole storyline's they haven't lost a game in regulation.
They lost a game in regulation the other night, 7-5 against the Flyers.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy game.
I think so. And then,
but even so, that's a much better start to the season than anticipated.
Then I thought they were going to be we talked about what we said 6th or 7th, be middling, but not bad. But they've looked good.
And then meanwhile, Nashville's been dog shit. So.
Everybody on that team's been dog shit. Marshy scored, but Stammer's got 1 goal. Soros has not looked really good.
He hasn't. I will say Marshy, he's been a little under a point per game because he's been having more assists than goals, but
they have no second line center. It's not Tommy Novak.
Exactly.
And I think we kind of called that beginning of the season. It was if they find a second line center, figure it out, they'll be great, but they need a second line center.
It was funny. I was listening to Dropping the Gloves, John Scott's podcast.
Yeah.
And they had one of the Nashville reporters on as a guest, and they're basically just asking, what happened? Why are they so bad? And who's one of their guys, Colton Sissons or Ross Colton?
No, Ross Colton plays for the Avs. It's Colton Sissons.
Okay. But anyways, he was talking about Colton Sissons, and he was well, he has all the tools, and he's this kind of center, and blah, 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 and he's trying to give them reasons why they'll get good, and then John Scott just cut him off. He's like, well, yeah, but he's also has 0 points and is a -9, so, is he really that good?
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to have to trade for a second line center.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's
where are you going to find these guys that they're not already spoken for in a good team?
That's the obvious fix to the obvious remedy is getting an actual center. Centers don't come cheap, and they don't even. not only do they not come cheap, they're often not even available.
No,
to
like
begin with.
obviously this was in the last year, but it was Elias Lindholm.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he was paid a good chunk of money for.
Why do you think Chandler Stevenson got paid?
Yeah.
He's a top 6 center.
Yeah, and I think, maybe if the Flyers were willing to move on from Sean Couturier, that'd be something. I think that's the only guy that would be possibly available. Like I said, what other second line center could they possibly even go after that's not being used, or it's not on a good team already?
I got one for you. # free Sid.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever get traded. But yeah, that's a guy. If even at the towards the trade deadline, and they will be bad. I'm not saying if they are gonna have a bad record, they'll be 8th place in the Metro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a foregone conclusion. I don't think he signed the deal, but the deal is tradable because it's 8.7. You could trade that to somebody. It's only for 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can get rid of that contract if if he said, I want to go win somewhere and Nashville's competing. But even then, outside of Sid, I don't know of anybody that would move. Are they a team that's not on a competing team, or a team that won't pay more for him?
Maybe Buffalo decides to do their 3rd rebuild. And,
you mean their 30th rebuild?
Yeah. their 3rd rebuild since we've been around. Since
yeah,
been
that's true. Who's even the second line center of that? Dylan Cousins.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, because they let go of Casey Middlestat. So.
Yeah, working out. So he's decent in Colorado, but I think it's only because they're feeding off the energy from the top line.
Yeah.
Going back to the Knights, we're at the top of the Pacific. I think we're 1 point ahead of the Kings. The fortunate thing is the Kings have beaten up on bad teams. They beat the Ducks and the Sabres, and teams are dog shit.
Yeah, right now it's us at number 1, then LA, then Calgary, then Vancouver, then Seattle, then Anaheim, then Edmonton,
and then San Jose, who have not won a game.
It wasn't really funny hearing everyone on their podcasts over the summer being like, I don't know, man, San Jose, they picked up all these pieces, they're gonna get Macklin Celebrini. That I'm just saying they might not be that bad.
Yeah, I think we even said that
9 losses later.
We said that they'll be 8th, but they'll be a little bit better. I'm like, this team looks worse than they did last year.
Yeah.
Hey, look at it this way. At least they haven't had 10 hung up on them yet.
True. That's very true.
Very close.
So maybe not as bad as last year, because they have 2 consecutive
10. That's that famous picture. Yeah, my first Sharks game. And the score just underneath it, 10-0.
Yeah. And it's funny.
Poor kid.
And then when we're watching the game last night, and Vitek Vanacek comes way out of the net to try to play a puck, and Carlson strips him and scores. And all I could think of was, this is the goalie that New Jersey had when everyone was picking them to win the cup.
Great player. Great guy. God, that was 7 clean too, hung on him. It wasn't an empty net. One was an empty net goal or something. 7-3. If we can keep this up, I think Calgary's going to be a little bit more of a test because those forwards are better, and the goaltending's been very solid for them. For both Vladar and Wolf have been good. I think if we can kind of get that and beat them, we go on a little road trip.
So I will say that a lot of these teams, they're in a certain order right now, and it's kind of fun to laugh at Edmonton being 7th and LA being 2nd, or
I could see that
Calgary being
finishing
3rd.
The way that it is right now.
I was going to say a lot of these teams are pretty much at 500.
Yeah.
So this is going to have some radical swings up and down, except San Jose, who is firmly at
last,
the bottom.
Yeah. And
2 points.
What's Vancouver's record?
Vancouver is 4-1-2.
Oh, so not bad. So they've only got, we're what, 4? No, we're more than 4. We're 6-1-2.
Oh wait,
I think 6-2-1. I mean,
yes, I think I just. Well, it's win loss, and then OT.
Well, OT losses.
I was reading the OT and the points column too close together. I'm like, OT points. I'm like, I don't care about OT points. Tell me what they've won and lost.
We're 6-2-1, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I really hope we win tomorrow, so that way because my
like
first,
we said, the first 10 games, we're gonna have a winning record regardless.
we will. But
Nicer with 7.
I was gonna say my first measuring block is always 10 games. I don't know why, but mentally I defer to 10 game segments.
Well, because by 10 games, that's an eighth way of the season, and then you're gonna be pretty soon you're gonna be a quarter way through the season, and by the quarter you want to have a good record to cushion yourself from just in cases. But what I like about this team now is that we're not coming out fucking blistering hot anymore. Well, I mean, we're still playing fucking crazy, but we're not winning 12 in a row, and you're like, oh, we're gonna burn ourselves out. Now it's like a sustainable pace.
Yeah, and I think I said this last episode, but maybe it was good to have a little losing streak early, just so, because I feel like last year it was like we had that super hot opening and then slowly fizzled out and just never really recovered. I'm like, well, at least there's some urgency to fix the problems in their game and get their shit together, more or less.
Yeah, I think the one person that, like we said, that is left to get their shit together is Aiden Hill. I think he can.
Me too. I mean, we've seen it. It's not like we're asking for something that we've never
miraculous,
seen before. Yeah. And it'll be a home game, and hopefully
he'll likely play tomorrow, right?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna play tomorrow. The defense is hopefully a little more organized and a little less hectic.
Yeah, I think they can be because
Carlson will be back. That'll be a huge
help. I think what the Ottawa thing was their offense has been really, really good, and even their defense has been solid. Like moving the offense forward. Calgary's kind of cooled off, and I don't even think they've been scoring a crazy amount. I think it's been 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah.
But that's from Kadri and Huberdeau and Uyghur.
Yeah, because Calgary's 5-2-1.
Yeah, they So
and that 2-1 has been the more recent games.
Yeah, exactly. They started off really hot, but I think that game is very winnable. And then you say we go to LA midweek, and then we go to Utah.
I know it's Utah. Let me try to navigate this awful app.
I can just bring up the score. It's a better app.
The Utah game will be a home game.
Okay, so we go to LA and then come back home.
Saturday the 2nd.
Ah.
And then we have a 2-game road trip, Edmonton and Seattle.
One of those games might be difficult. But, I mean...
Of course, the Edmonton game's at 5:30 on a Wednesday because, God forbid, I want to get home from work and fucking watch a big divisional game.
Yeah, because they're on it's going to be on TV too, right?
Yeah, fuck.
And that's because
they're
5:30. I should. That's a central time zone. That's why.
Yeah, I should.
You should be fine.
I should be able to catch that game.
And then when do we play the Kraken? On Friday or Saturday?
Friday the 8th.
Okay, so some good games. I mean, all right. Close it all up this episode. Very happy with the offense. Getting happier with the defense. Extremely happy with Ilya Samsonov.
I could not be any more ecstatic for Mark Stone.
Mark Stone has been incredible. He's like, I'm actually. That's what everybody forgets with the LTIR jokes. He's actually one of the best one of the best players in the fucking league. Period.
You know what I forgot to do? I don't know if we have time to. I just wanted to read some quick stats from Shea Theodore. Oh yeah, and Shea Theodore's been great too. And that's also Petrangelo's got 11 points, and he's a +7. I'll send these all to you, but a +7. That's crazy. Petrangelo's having a fantastic. He passed Theo just because Theo didn't play one game. Yeah, but this all came out, after news of the when you got resigned. Extension. Yeah. So in Theodore's last 82 games, not counting this most recent one. Yep. He had 10 goals, 61 assists, 71 points. It's pretty fucking good. Yeah. Some other things that credit to Gary Lawless for throwing this out there. Last year, he ranked 7th in points per game among NHL defensemen, was 3rd in points per 60 at 5v5. Over the last 3 years, he's 4th in points per 60 at 5v5. He's only behind Makar, Carlson, and Werenski. And I'm sure Carlson's numbers all came from that 1 year in San Jose. +71 in goal differential at 5v5, which is 10th in the league. And then here's where he really shines. In the playoffs, since Vegas has entered the league, Theodore has played 94 playoff games, which is 4th in the league among defensemen. He has 60 points in those games, which again is 4th in the league. He's a plus 37 at 5 versus 5 in those 94 playoff games, which is first in the NHL defenseman. You know who second is? Plus 27? Alex Pietrangelo. And, of course, he won a Stanley Cup in that time.
Yep.
42 points in the playoffs at 5v5. Tied for first with Cale Makar.
Goddamn. But...
We got him for 7 by 7 essentially,
and then because the next McCarr deal is going to be absurd, and we've got him basically until he retires.
Yeah, again, full no trade for 5 years, and then partial no trade for the last 2.
Great
and
deal.
Honestly,
great deal.
As we keep saying, the way the cap's going, I think we're going to get more than his value until then.
Yeah, totally.
And then the last 2 years of that deal, he'll be at value.
Mm-hmm. Because now we're going to have, you do that deal, and you get that off your books. Now you're going to okay, next is going to be Jack in a year. And, hey, we'll have the money to resign him to a $10 million, $11 million contract, which fine. I'm okay with that. Because they're doing it smartly to where you can stack the cap up.
Yep, exactly.
And, build around the window that you have with Jack, with Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Shea Theodore. You have around all these guys.
Noah Hannafin.
Until next week, we'll have more about the week. Nothing much else we can talk about, really. It's been a great few days for a Golden Knights fan.
Good week. We'll see where it goes.
Yep. Until next week, stay gold.
Stay gold and stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.